Meantime, the Prime Minister has been accused of betraying the victims of phone hacking after cross-party talks to reform the regulation of the press collapsed. The former Met detective and now campaigner for Hacked Off, Jacqui joins us now, as you can see. Hi Jacqui, thanks for joining us. What are you making of all this?
Well, it's quite extraordinary, Kay, to be honest, because as far as I was concerned, and I know that the campaigners in Hacked Off were concerned, there were cross-party discussions taking place which were moving forward. Concessions had been made on all sides and a real opportunity was appearing. But having watched that press conference this morning, I was completely gobsmacked by some of the things that David Cameron said. I've been a police officer for 30 years and I've heard some excuses and some misrepresentation in the past. But quite honestly, some of the things he said were just ridiculous. I mean, clearly he's positioning himself now as being representative of the proprietors and the news editors who don't really want change. And everybody else is pleading with him to come back to the table, to continue talking, because there are some very sensible proposals on the table which he really hasn't got a proper argument against.
Chatting to the Association of Editors Chief a bit earlier on, and he was saying the proposals that they have come up with are Leveson compliant. The only slight stumbling block is that they would not be legally underpinned. Would that be good enough for you?
No, it's not my understanding. I mean, there are probably, something like, well, I don't know the exact number, but probably more than 10 areas which there will be some tweaking needed to make them Leveson compliant. What's happened is, Kay, is that this idea of the Royal Charter was proposed. Everybody at Hacked Off was prepared to read through it and listen and to sort of negotiate around it and look at the ideas that they put forward. Over several months there have been an army of legal experts paid for by the proprietors in a room coming up with wording which creates loopholes and ways in which in the future the press can get out of their commitments in this charter. And what all that the other people negotiating these are doing is saying, well, look, if you accept this, the wording of it is such that there may be a problem later on. So all that the negotiations have been, as to my understanding, is let's create something that is Leveson compliant, that everybody can agree to. And everybody in those cross-party talks, apart from David Cameron, has sees that how sensible they are and how protective of press freedom and public interest that they are. And I'm afraid the only person, other than the newspaper editors and proprietors, who don't agree with that is David Cameron. And I feel so disappointed because I used to be such a huge supporter of his, and I think he's been put under so much pressure by the proprietors that I think it's almost unfair to see him, and I felt quite sad actually to see him demeaning himself in that way.
He is the Prime Minister though, and he is going to make his case at the dispatch box on Monday ahead of that vote on what happens next. It is a whipped vote, as you know, so as a result people are more or less likely to vote along party lines. That would suggest that the Prime Minister is likely to be defeated, especially presumably if Hacked Off start to campaign and speak to MPs about now. Is that what you're planning to do?
Well, I'm not a politician, Kay, and I don't know how these things work. This is my first sort of foray into anything political. I just want to see the right thing done, and I really would appeal to all MPs to have a look properly at the proposals, look at what everybody's saying, and ask yourselves what is in the best interests of the public and the freedom of the press and the public interest, and then vote with their hearts and their heads in that way, and not be pressurised by people whose only interest is in making money for their businesses.
We're expecting a news conference from Hacked Off shortly, are we?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Kay?
No, certainly. Are we expecting a news conference from Hacked Off quite shortly?
Yes, there will be.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Hopefully we'll be able to take that live. For now, Jacqui Haynes, always great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.